All right, y'all. So the Biden administration has made a move on the issue of abortion rights. And let me break it down for you. So this is in the Associated Press. Biden administration, docs must offer abortion if mom's life at risk. Okay, so they say the Biden administration on Monday told hospitals that they must provide abortion services if the life of the mother is at risk, saying federal law on emergency treatment guidelines preempts state laws in jurisdictions that now ban the procedure without any exceptions following the Supreme Court's decision to end a constitutional right to abortion. So, in other words, they're saying the state laws, or excuse me, the federal law already mandates if the mother's life is at risk, you have to perform the abortion. That's the argument. He's like, I don't care what your state laws say. There's the supremacy clause of the Constitution, which says federal law overrides state law, so you don't have a choice. You have to perform those abortions. But let me give you more information on this, because this gets weirder and weirder as we go on here. The Department of Health and Human Services cited requirements on medical facilities in the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act, or EMTALA. The law requires medical facilities to determine whether a person seeking treatment may be in labor or whether they face an emergency health situation or one that could develop into an emergency, and to provide treatment. Quote, if a physician believes that a pregnant patient presenting at an emergency department is experiencing an emergency medical condition as defined by EMTALA, and that abortion is the stabilizing treatment necessary to resolve that condition, the physician must provide that treatment, the agency's guideline states. When a state law prohibits abortion and does not include an exemption for the life of the pregnant person or draws the exception more narrowly than EMTALA's emergency medical condition definition, that state law is preempted. The department said emergency conditions include ectopic pregnancy, complications of pregnancy loss, or emergent hypertensive disorders such as preeclampsia with severe features. Currently, even the states with the most stringent bans on abortion do allow exceptions when the health of the mother is at risk, though the threat of prosecution has created confusion for some doctors. Okay, so that is probably the most important part of this article right here, just so everybody understands. Because basically, so the Biden administration came out and made this big show of like, we're standing up for abortion rights, and they're like, if the mother's life is at risk, you have to perform the abortion, even if you're in the reddest of the red states with the strictest anti-abortion laws. And then the more you read on, you learn even the states with the most strict bans on abortion say, if the life of the mother is at risk, it's legal. So Biden is just reiterating what the law already is, and they're acting like this is him fighting for abortion rights. I mean, that's really dishonest. And the AP digging this halfway through the article, or more than halfway through the article, you know, why'd you even write this article? If he's just reiterating what already is the law. It's like he's pretending to fight. He's shadow boxing, is what Biden is doing here. Let's see if we learn anything else. In a letter to healthcare providers, Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra wrote, It is critical that providers know that a physician or other qualified medical personnel's professional and legal duty to provide stabilizing medical treatment to a patient who presents to the emergency department and is found to have an emergency medical condition preempts any directly conflicting state law or mandate that might otherwise prohibit such treatment. The only other reason I could think of for why they did this is what they're describing here, which is now doctors in red states are confused. They think like, wait, is it legal if I perform an abortion for if the mother's life is at risk? And this is the federal government saying, yes, it is. And they're just reiterating what the state laws are everywhere, by the way. The department says its guidance doesn't reflect new policy, but merely reminds doctors and providers of their existing obligations under federal law. Quote, under federal law, providers in emergency situations are required to provide stabilizing care to someone with an emergency medical condition, including abortion care if necessary, regardless of the state where they live. And then it goes on. Look, I'll say this. If Biden wants to come out and say something like this, which is just reiterating what the law already is and pretend like he's fighting, why wouldn't you have gone further? Why wouldn't you have said, federal law mandates in cases of rape and incest too, that you have to allow an abortion? Or federal law mandates rape, incest, and within the first 6 weeks, you have to allow the abortion. Like, in other words, he's reiterating the law as it is, but it's not fighting because you're not raising the stakes. You're not taking a position which is more pro-choice. And so, again, shadow boxing. Pretending like he's fighting without actually fighting. The answer is simple. You have to codify Roe versus Wade. You have to make that law. Because now it's not interpreted as a constitutional right, so you have to make that the law. And you can make, and in order to do that, you need to make an exception to the filibuster, which they could do if they wanted to do, but they're not going to do it. And but I mean, it would be so necessary. Again, the other things you could do, which would be Biden actually fighting for this, is free telehealth and free abortion pills and abortion clinics on federal land in red states. Those are like the two institutionalist ways of responding that are well within the barriers and confines of the law. And if he's not doing those things, we're not even really having a conversation about him fighting. So even this is more like posturing, pretending like he's fighting without him actually fighting. And so that's the gist of it. But I wanted to share it with you guys to show it's all optics. He's just trying to manage the optics now and be like, no, I'm doing something, but this, you're not really doing anything. You're just reiterating what is federal law. And you can do a lot more than that. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.